A Passage to India, Chapter 13, Part 2. He rushed to meet them, suddenly happy. "But you've come after all. Oh, how very kind of you," he cried. "This is the happiest moment in all my life." The ladies were civil. It was not the happiest moment in their lives. Still, they looked forward to enjoying themselves as soon as the bother of the early start was over. They had not seen him since the expedition was arranged, and they thanked him adequately. "You don't require tickets. Please stop your servant." There were no tickets on the Marlborough branch line. It is its peculiarity. You come to the carriage and rest till Mr. Fielding joins us. "Did you know you are to travel per dah? Will you like that?" They replied that they should like it. The train had come in, and a crowd of dependents were swarming over the seats of the carriage like monkeys. Aziz had borrowed servants from his friends, as well as bringing his own three, and quarrels over precedence were resulting. The lady's servant stood apart with a sneering expression on his face. They had hired him while they were still globetrotters at Bombay. In a hotel or among smart people he was excellent, but as soon as they consorted with anyone whom he thought second-rate, he left them to their disgrace. The night was still dark, but had acquired the temporary look that indicates its end. Perched on the roof of a shed, the station master's hens began to dream of kites instead of owls. Lamps were put out in order to save the trouble of putting them out later. The smell of tobacco and the sound of spitting arose from the third-class passengers in dark corners. Heads were unshrouded, teeth cleaned on the twigs of a tree. So convinced was a junior official that another sun would rise that he rang a bell with enthusiasm. This upset the servants. They shrieked that the train was starting and ran to both ends of it to intercede. Much had still to enter the per dah carriage. A box bound with brass, a melon wearing a fez, a towel containing guavas, a step-ladder, and a gun. The guests played up all right. They had no race consciousness. Mrs. Moore was too old, Miss Quested too new, and they behaved to Aziz as to any young man who had been kind to them in the country. This moved him deeply. He had expected them to arrive with Mr. Fielding, instead of which they trusted themselves to be with him a few moments alone. "Send back your servant," he suggested. "He is unnecessary. Then we shall all be Muslims together." "And he is such a horrible servant. Anthony, you can go. We don't want you," said the girl impatiently. "Master told me to come." "Mistress tells you to go." "Master says, keep near the ladies all the morning." "Well, your ladies won't have you." She turned to the host. "Get rid of him, Dr. Aziz." "Mohammed Latif," he called. The poor relative exchanged fezes with the melon, and peeped out of the window of the railway carriage, whose confusion he was superintending. "Here's my cousin, Mr. Mohammed Latif. Oh no, don't shake hands. He is an Indian of the old-fashioned sort. He prefers to salaam. There, I told you so. Mohammed Latif, how beautifully you salaam. See, he hasn't understood. He knows no English." "You spik lie," said the old man gently. "I spek a lie." "Oh, jolly good. Isn't he a funny old man? We will have great jokes with him later. He does all sorts of little things. He is not nearly as stupid as you think, and awfully poor. It's lucky ours is a large family." He flung an arm around the grubby neck. "But you get inside. Make yourselves at home. Yes, you lie down." The celebrated Oriental confusion appeared at last to be at an end. "Excuse me, now I must meet our other two guests." He was getting nervous again, for it was 10 minutes to the time. Still, Fielding was an Englishman, and they never do miss trains, and Godbole was a Hindu, and did not count. And soothed by this logic, he grew calmer as the hour of departure approached. Mohammed Latif had bribed Anthony not to come. They walked up and down the platform, talking usefully. They agreed that they had overdone the servants and must leave 2 or 3 behind at Marbar station, and Aziz explained that he might be playing 1 or 2 practical jokes at the caves, not out of unkindness, but to make the guests laugh. The old man assented with slight sideways motion of the head. He was always willing to be ridiculed, and he bade Aziz not spare him. Elated by his importance, he began an indecent anecdote. "Tell me another time, brother, when I have more leisure, for now, I have already explained, we have to give pleasure to non-Muslims. 3 will be Europeans, 1 a Hindu, which must not be forgotten. Every attention must be paid to Professor Godbole, lest he feel that he is inferior to my other guests. I will discuss philosophy with him. That will be kind of you, but the servants are even more important. We must not convey an impression of disorganization. It can be done, and I expect you to do it." A shriek from the Purdah carriage. The train had started. "Merciful God!" cried Mohammed Latif. He flung himself at the train and leapt on to the footboard of the carriage. Aziz did likewise. It was an easy feat, for a branch-line train is slow to assume special airs. "We're monkeys, don't worry," he called, hanging onto a bar and laughing. Then he howled, "Mr. Fielding! Mr. Fielding!" There was Fielding and old Godbole held up at the level crossing. Appalling catastrophe! The gates had been closed earlier than usual. They leapt from their tonga, they gesticulated, but what was the good? So near and yet so far. As the train joggled past over the points, there was time for agonized words. "Bad, bad, you have destroyed me." "Godbole's puja did it," cried the Englishman. The Brahmin lowered his eyes, ashamed of religion, for it was so. He had miscalculated the length of a prayer. "Jump on, I must have you," screamed Aziz, beside himself. "Right, give a hand." "He's not to, he'll kill himself," Mrs. Moore protested. He jumped, he failed, missed his friend's hand, and fell back onto the line. The train rumbled past. He scrambled onto his feet and bawled after them, "I'm all right, you're all right, don't worry." And then they passed beyond the range of his voice. "Mrs. Moore, Miss Quested, our expedition is a ruin." He swung himself along the footboard, almost in tears. Get in, you'll kill yourself as well as Mr. Fielding. I see no ruin." "How is that? Oh, explain to me," he said piteously, like a child. "We shall all be Muslims together now, as you promised." She was perfect as always, his dear Mrs. Moore. All the love for her he had felt at the mosque welled up again, the freshness for forgetfulness. There was nothing he would not do for her. He would die to make her happy. "Get in, Dr. Aziz, you make us giddy," the other lady called. "If they're so foolish to miss the train, that's their loss, not ours." "I am to blame. I am the host." "Nonsense, go to your carriage. We're going to have a delightful time without them." Not perfect like Mrs. Moore, but very sincere and kind. Wonderful ladies, both of them, and for one precious morning his guests. He felt important and competent. Fielding was a loss personally, being a friend, increasingly dear. Yet if Fielding had come, he himself would have remained in leading strings. "Indians are incapable of responsibility," said the officials, and Hamdullah sometimes said it too. He would show those pessimists that they were wrong. Smiling proudly, he glanced outward at the country, which was still invisible, except as a dark movement in the darkness. Then upwards at the sky, where the star of the sprawling scorpion had begun to pale. Then he dived through a window into a second-class carriage. "Mohammed Latif, by the way, what is in these caves, brother? Why are we all going to see them?" Such a question was beyond the poor relative's scope. He could only reply that God and the local villagers knew, and that the latter would gladly act as guides. And we'll pause here and go on with Chapter 14 in the next video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.